start here. Wait for the mayor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. We welcome you to the final budget deliberations of the Milford Board of Aldermen regarding the Board of Finance recommended budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. Please join me as we salute our flag. Madam Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Alderman Ali.
Here.
Alderman Bannon. Here. Alderman Bevan.
Here.
Alderman Brennan.
Here.
Alderman Casey. Alderman Federico.
Here.
Alderman Fowler.
Here.
Alderman Healy. Here. Alderman Height.
Here.
Alderman Lombardi.
Alderman Lombardi will be a little late, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Alderman Pacelli.
Here.
Alderman Michael Smith. Here. Alderman Winthrop Smith Jr. Here. Alderman Winthrop Smith III.
Here.
Alderman Vitro.
Here.
13 are present.
We have 13 present. We do have a quorum. Is there a motion to come out of recess?
So moved. Second.
Motion is made and seconded to come out of recess. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're out of recess. I would like to open this evening's session by first recognizing the hours, days, weeks, and months of hard work that went into getting to this point in the budget process. To our mayor, our city department heads, our superintendent of schools and her staff, as well as the members of the Board of Education, the Board of Finance, the Finance Director, and of course the members of this board. Thank you, each of you, for your tireless commitment and dedication to our city and for all the work that has gone into this year's budget process. The annual budget process is, by most measures, an inevitable task. This board will need to make the final and binding decisions on what is funded, to what extent, and what is not. Tonight, as we begin the final phase of this year's budget process, I want to make a personal appeal to both parties to transcend political concerns and to focus on doing what is best for the people, all the people of our great city of Milford. Our mayor, would you like to say something at this point?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well said. Maybe I don't need to say anything now. But tonight does mark the end of a process that began in earnest even before I came to office back in October and November. Every department head came forward back in November with their proposed budgets. My message to them as far back as November was that we needed to come in flat. Milford taxpayers have had their taxes increase over 9.5% over the prior 2 years. And I was determined, as I think we all were, to keep taxes lower. Every department requested additional funding, and understandably so, in order to maintain the services the people of Milford have come to expect. The cost for every department has gone up. Needless to say, our job here is to find the balance between taxes and services, which is a very delicate one, and one that requires extensive consideration. The City of Milford faces unprecedented cost pressures as we see the price of goods and services skyrocketing. The affordability issue is indeed real. The price of groceries, the price of gasoline, the price of building material, price of everything is up a lot. Now, on top of those pressures, I walked in November with a state-mandated revaluation, which significantly shifts the financial burden from our commercial to our residential tax base. Further, our contractual obligations included an increase of over $6 million in health care claims, $3 million in salary contracts, and 1.08 in other salary and benefit obligations. It's really kind of a tsunami of costs, unprecedented. I was just lucky enough to be the guy to walk in when it happens. What this administration did was to implement, as you know, a spending freeze and a hiring freeze for the last quarter of this fiscal year to be sure that we could contain our costs. Made a decision to phase in the state-mandated reval over 5 years in an effort to lessen the impact to the residential property owners. Cut over $3.5 million in department-requested fund increases. These are, as I said, unprecedented times as the economy around us swirls in turbulence. Like the chairman, I want to thank all the people on this board, and Board of Education, and all the folks Phil mentioned earlier. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, and all the people, including my chief of staff, Peter, the legal department, and so many others that have worked tirelessly for months. Our city assessor should also be recognized. This budget is a product of a lot of hard work. Now, there have been a lot of discussions around the senior center here. I mean, we talk about their $900,000 account. One day we call it an emergency account. We call it a lot of things, but it was our hope that they, like all other nonprofits, would contribute to some fundraising. It's not a city department. It's not attached to the city. It is the recipient of city grants and a city building, city services. But I know, the other day, somebody mentioned on the other side, you want to feed seniors. I thought, is there no limit to the hyperbole that we want to feed seniors? Anyway, I get it. So I'm happy to say, and Alderwoman Bannon has agreed to help the senior center with fundraising efforts. I know the Rape Crisis Center the other day raised $55,000 in one afternoon. So I think we could certainly help the senior center in their sole reliance on city funds. But I would like to say that, and thank Representative M.J. Shannon, who was able to secure $90,000 for the senior center. You will recall that the director of the senior center said if she could get the $90,000, she'd be okay with that. And so I'm grateful to M.J. Shannon. That money is committed to the senior center. I have a note from the Office of Financial Analysis committing those dollars. So my thanks to them, and hopefully the senior center will step up and begin doing some fundraising. We'll look forward to that. Again, my many thanks to all of you for all the work you did on behalf of Milford. And maybe at the end of the night, if it's not too late, we should all go out and celebrate with having a beer at, I don't know where all the bars are, which I'll talk to Mike Smith, he knows where they are. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your presentation and your speech on that. Alderman Pacelli.
Thank you, Chairman Vitro. I make a motion to approve the revenue and expenditures for the 2026-2027 City of Milford budget as recommended by the Board of Finance with the following technical changes. Item 1, General Fund Revenue, page 4, 054-000-433-517, education cost sharing, increase from $9,673,235 to $10,060,165 for a new subtotal of $10,060,165. Page 5, 054-000-433-642 pilot, state realty, increase from $367,363 to $401,898. 054-000-433-643, state realty, Pequot, increase from $236,690 to $904,660, and 054-000-433-647, private exemptions from $367,363 to $401,898 for a new subtotal of $1,786,482. And page 8, 054-000-483-833, Milford Power Plant pilot, decrease from $4,700,000 to $0 for a new subtotal of $2,782,800. Item 2, community development, page 20, 054-123-514-111, regular wages, increase from $181,199 to $183,517, and 054-123-519-942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $905 to $918 for a new subtotal of $184,436 and a department total of $195,846. Item 3, city clerk, page 22, 054-129-514-111, regular wages, increase from $365,044 to $398,801, and 054-129-519942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $1,796 to $1,995 for a new subtotal of $415,321 and a department total of $485,122. Item 4, permitting and land use, page 27, 054-142-514-111, regular wages, increase from $1,130,762 to $1,191,929, and 054-142-519-942 from 1/5 fiscal week, $5,485 to $5,961 for a new subtotal of $1,226,990 and a department total of $1,290,443. Item 5, public library, page 35, 054-593-514-111, regular wages, increase from $958,337 to $1,041,694, and 054-593-519-942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $4,773 to $5,209 for a new subtotal of $1,153,403 and a department total of $1,414,503. Item 6, Finance Department, page 37, 054-110-514-111, regular wages, increase from $2,130,000 $151,001 to $2,234,374, and 054110 519942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $10,726 to $11,175 for a new subtotal of $2,330,474, and a department total of $2,612,702. Item 7, Information Technology, page 39, 054170 514111, regular wages increase from $424,734 to $446,704, and 054170 519942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $2,097 to $2,225 for a new subtotal of $500,930, and a department total of $1,783,008. Item 8, Engineering, page 72, 054324 514111, regular wages increase from $406,078 to $431,402, and 054324 519942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $2,019 to $2,158 for a new subtotal of $475,061, and a department total of $489,176. Item 9, Health Department, page 79, 054410 514111, regular wages increase from $1,170,880 to $1,268,123, and 054410 519942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $5,784 to $6,341 for a new subtotal of $1,335,464, and a department total of $1,425,664. Item 10, Recreation Department, page 82, 054520 514111, regular wages increase from $470,045 to $505,632, and 054520 519942, 1/5 fiscal week, from $2,343 to $2,529 for a new subtotal of $1,086,161, and a department total of $1,217,861. Item 11, Employee Benefits, page 84, 05998310 529905, pension, fire, police, general, decrease from $17,200,000 to $17,066,602 for a new subtotal of $37,930,962, and a department total of $37,954,362. Item 12, Benefit and Salary Reserve, page 86, 05998390 514199, other wage adjustments, decrease from $1,563,267, I should say, to $1,269,168 for a new subtotal of $1,269,168, and a department total of $1,269,168. That is all.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the main motion with the technical changes? Alderman Smith, the third.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you. Just a point of clarification.
Are we voting on the technical changes, or we are voting on the budget as a whole with the technical changes already incorporated because they were just technical in nature?
We're not voting on the technical changes. We're voting on the whole.
Thank you.
Measure.
Appreciate it.
Is there any other discussion on the main motion with the technical changes? Alderman Smith.
Mr.
second.
Chairman, I'm not sure. You said we're not voting on these budget adjustments,
No.
so we're simply voting on the underlying budget?
We're not voting on the technical changes. We're not at this time.
Right.
We're voting on the whole thing as a whole.
I think the question
The whole
that the
budget?
chairman put forth was, is there any discussion on the motion with the technical changes, so that if we had any comments on the technical changes, this would be the time for discussion on those.
And that's what we're doing through you, Mr. Chairman. We were asking for clarification on this. And if the clarifying answer is there is no vote on the technical changes, these technical changes have been incorporated. It's the vote on the budget as a whole as technically changed. That's the answer.
Correct.
And I believe that that's the answer. Thank you.
But if there are any discussion on those, now would be the time to talk about them.
Alderman Federico.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the Finance Director, could we just get the plain language explanation of what Alderman Pacelli just read on the technical changes?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Federico. In summary, these changes are recommended changes from my office, from the Finance Department, and they relate to a few areas. The main area, as you may know, is the new Milford Employee Association collective bargaining agreement that was recently approved by the board and is in the process of being ratified, if you will. So those are the changes reflected in that recently settled contract. And the other changes related to actuary. Our actuary finished their report, and they revised the actuarially determined employer contribution for our pension fund, and that was a reduction. And there was also a decrease to the benefit salary reserve as a result of the settlement of the MEA contract as well, and the adjustments made to the individual MEA employees and the respective departments. So that's on the expense side, and the net effect of those expense changes was only an increase to the general fund expenditures of $19,181. And then on the revenue side of the general fund budget, we received updates as a result of the state budget that was recently approved by the legislature, and we received updated information on certain grant line items, and that is the reason for those increases as you described. And lastly, there was a change for the Milford Power Plant pilot. That pilot agreement was extended for 1 year in the current fiscal year that we're in now, and we were anticipating that, or hoping that we could get a new pilot, but instead it was confirmed by our city assessor that we do not have a pilot agreement, and so that's why we're zeroing that line item out. And as a result, the property as it stands, the Milford Power Plant, is no longer exempt and subject to a pilot, but instead was added as part of the grand list. And so that's the reason for that adjustment. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion on the main motion with the technical changes? Alderman Smith III.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and through you, I would like to make a motion to amend the budget as presented. In my amendment, I'm presenting to the...
There's no, we're on technical changes right now. After this is done, then we go on to amendments on the next portion of the conclusion of the budget.
I appreciate that, and that's why I had asked about the technical changes. I thought we had just incorporated those as technical changes and had moved on to the main budget motion. So I'll wait a couple minutes for that. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. Is there any other discussion on the main motion with the technical changes? Yes, Alderman Smith Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the Finance Director, if I could, I noticed in your discussion there, you said these are your office's recommendations, and these recommendations that are on this page and a half here, simply by handing us this piece of paper, these become incorporated into the city budget?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Smith Jr., my understanding is that you have introduced a main motion to approve the entire city budget as recommended by the Board of Finance with these following technical changes. So that's the main motion, and it's open for discussion at this time. And so that stays awaiting a vote. And and correct me, Mr. Chairman, if I'm mistaken, but I think we're not rushing to a vote because we want to leave the proper opportunity for members of the board, if they so choose, to make other motions for amendments in addition to these technical changes. And those would have to be voted up or down. And let's just say, for example, one amendment that the board recommends is approved, then that would be added to these technical changes to the main motion, and then you have to get through all those amendments. Maybe there are none, maybe there are several, but once you get through all of those votes, we will go back to the main motion as amended, and the as amended may be nothing or it may be some, and then you will finally vote on that main motion as amended, if that makes sense. Thank you.
So is there any other discussion on the main motion with technical changes? Yes. Alderman Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the Finance Director, I just want to, I know we talked about this prior to the meeting, but just for the public, I know that the state aid came in. Just if you can state how much state money are we getting in total?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Fowler, in aggregate, the entire total of state grants, as the Board of Finance recommended, with the technical changes that we just heard, the grand total of state aid would be $13,138,964. And just to give you, as an FYI, a point of reference, last year, or rather with the Board of Finance, it was $12,014,964. And so there is an increase in state aid, the difference between those two numbers. I have that for you. Yeah, that difference, I believe, is $1,123,970 increase above the Board of Finance amount of state aid, total state aid.
Okay, and just a follow-up to that, because I know the intent of the new state aid that was voted on in the recent budget was intended to lower the mill rates. I guess if you could give us a rough estimate of, with this new funding, how much will that impact our mill rate if we approve these technical changes with no further amendments?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Alderman Fowler, with all due respect, I think it's premature to give a final mill rate, but I would give you an idea that an increase of about 856,000, if you will, would lead to a 0.1 mil decrease in the mill rate. So I just read you the change. It's a little over $1 million. So I would imagine it's slightly above a 0.1 mil decrease as a result of this additional state aid. And we're just looking at the state aid increase only. So
Right.
that gives you an idea. Thank you.
Okay, so just to confirm, 0.1, possibly a 0.1 mil decrease? Just to...
Yeah, yes, through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Fowler, it's approximately a little over 0.1, so somewhere between 0.1 and 0.2, it could be 0.13 or 0.14. I don't have the exact change, but
Right.
it's in that vicinity.
Okay.
If we look at just the additional 1.1 million from the state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more discussion on the main motion with the technical changes? Hearing none. Alderman Pacelli.
Thank you, Chairman Vitro. I'd like to make a motion to amend Highway Parks 1005-054321, page 67, position 432-10027, truck driver curb maker, decrease from $62,026 to zero. Page 68, position 4321-0023, truck driver laborer, decrease from $62,026 to zero, for a new position total of $2,599,821. And I understand before I finish my motion, I need to wait, Peter, for you to run some numbers for me to read some more items in.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Pacelli, I just want to clarify, I noted the positions you mentioned, position, and I'll give you the last four digits, 0027 on page 67. I will zero out the $62,026, and on page 68, position 23, I will zero out, I believe the figure I read here is $62,026. That will go to zero. And if you would give me a few minutes, I'll give you the revised regular wages, 1/5 fiscal week, and department total. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Pacelli. The revised position total for your information as a result of the elimination of those two positions would be $2,599,821. $599,821. And that leads us to two line item changes on page 65. Department Highway Parks, 054321, the regular wages, account 514111. It would decrease from $2,723,873 to a revised regular wages of $2,599,821. 1/5 fiscal week, account 519942, would decrease from $13,620 to $13,000 for a revised department total of $3,266,172. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I need to read that in for the remainder of the motion, or are we, yes, it should, okay. So to continue, regular wages, $2,599,821, 1/5 fiscal week, $13,000 even, for a new department total of $3,266,172. That accurate, Peter?
Yes.
Okay, so that concludes that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Alderman Smith III.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you. What's the total decrease on that? That would be through you, Mr. Chairman, to the Finance Director.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, if I may request a 5-minute recess, I'm having some technical difficulties that I'd like to resolve. Thank you.
5-minute recess. Thank you, Peter.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, whenever the board's ready, I believe I've resolved the problems for the moment. Thank you.
We're out of recess. The finance director has some more numbers.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The difference as a result of those changes is a decrease in highway parks of $124,672. Decrease.
Alderman Pacelli.
I believe we're still in discussion on this.
We're still on,
this-
any
this-
more
this
discussion
particular,
on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, I think Alderman Smith, who asked the question, was out of the room. Maybe the finance director could reiterate his sum for the benefit of Alderman Smith.
It's $124,672. Any more discussion on the amendment? Alderman Smith Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the proponent of the amendment, are these unfilled positions right now? Or are these actually their employees that are in these positions now?
Mr. Chairman, through you to Alderman Smith, these are, as I understand them, to be unfilled.
All right, thank you.
Any more discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Pacelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to amend solid waste 1005-1005-054331. That is page 77, position 432-10022. Truck driver, laborer, decrease from $64,189 to 0, for a new position total of $1,273,698. And I will now defer to our finance director before completing the motion.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Pacelli. I have a revised position total of $1,273,698. That leads to a reduction in regular wages, and the new total for regular wages would be $1,273,698. And 1/5 fiscal week, that account would be reduced to $6,369 for a revised department total of $5,168,505. Thank you.
And to complete the motion, regular wages, $1,273,698. 1/5 fiscal week, $6,369, with a new department total of $5,168,505.
Can I have a second? The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Smith Jr.
Mr. Chairman, to the proponent of the amendment, again, is this an unfilled position?
Chairman Vitro, through you to Alderman Smith, I am informed that it is. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Pacelli. Any more discussion? Any additional amendments are made during this discussion and process below is repeated, just as you heard these two previous amendments. So is there any more amendments that are Alderman Smith, the third?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And through you, I'd like to make a motion to amend on page 38, the budgeted positions for the Finance Department. That is position 411-00014, Purchasing Specialist. The amendment will reflect an increase from $56,407 to $73,144. The next position, 411-00016, Accounting Specialist, increase from $56,407 to $73,144. Position 411-00017, Accounting Specialist, increase from $56,407 to $73,144. And position 411-00019, Finance Specialist, increase from $56,407 to $73,144. That would make a total increase of $66,948, relatively de minimis amount. And I'm not sure with the technical changes, it would have made a new department total of $2,615,697. I think with the technical changes, it makes the new department total, and Finance Director Aradisi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, $2,679,650.
Second? Second?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, and to Alderman Smith III, if you'd like me to confirm your total, I would just need a few minutes to recalculate.
Thank you. I wouldn't need you to.
Okay.
I did the math on that. I trust my math. If you would like to double check that, you can, or if another board member wants you to confirm that, but I think that's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would just say, while you're talking, before you actually vote, let me confirm the total, just to make sure we match exactly.
Sure.
Thank
yes.
you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Smith III, just to confirm, those were 4 positions?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes.
Yes, okay. Yes, I have the purchasing specialist, the 2 accounting specialists, and the treasury finance specialist. So with those proposed changes, the revised position total would be $2,273,614. And that would change regular wages to the same amount, $2,273,614. 1/5 fiscal week would be $11,372 for a revised department total of $2,652,139.
Thank you, Finance Director. My math was off, so thank you for that.
Well, you heard the motion, I don't hear a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the amended motion? I don't see any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. Roll call vote, Madam Secretary.
Alderman Ali?
Yes.
Alderman Bannon? Alderman Bevan?
Yes.
Alderman Brennan? Alderman Casey?
Yes.
Alderman Federico?
No.
Alderman Fowler?
Yes.
Alderman Healy? No. Alderman Height?
No.
Alderman Pacelli?
No.
Alderman Michael Smith? No. Alderman Winthrop Smith Jr.?
Yes.
Alderman Winthrop Smith III?
Yes.
Alderman Vitro?
No.
Eight no, 6 yes.
8 no, 6 yes. The amended motion fails. Is there any more amendments? Alderman Bevan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reference to page 87, the Council on Aging, I do want to thank Mayor Smith for his report of the $90,000 increase on the grant coming in from another person. I know I appreciate that, and the Council on Aging does also. My amendment is on item number 539966, elderly and nutrition contributions, going from $1 to $30,000. This would be for a 1 year only for this budget cycle. Next year, when this comes before us, it will come back to the $1. They're just looking for the $30,000 to get them over the, we'll say, the hump until their grant may or may not come in for the following year. So this is a 1 year only change on that. The new line item would go from $1 to $30,000 for a new department total. I may be wrong, Peter, but $1,438,799.
Second.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Bevan, if I may. I just want to confirm the revised department total. I believe you proposed to increase elderly nutrition contribution to $30,000, and the revised subtotal $1,418,799, and revised department total for Council on Aging $1,438,799.
No, that's the same numbers I have. Thank you.
You heard the amended motion. Is there a second on the amended motion?
Second.
Motion has been made. The amended motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the amended motion? Alderman Healy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to comment that in light of the mayor's report, obviously all department heads across the municipality have requested increased funding, and we've looked at this, we've done our analysis, and in light of the fact that they've just received $90,000 in state funding that will augment that department, and the fact that Alderman Bannon is going to be working with them directly to help, along with other folks, their fundraising initiative, I'll be voting no for this. I don't think it's necessary. Thank you.
Any more discussion on the amended motion? Alderman Bevan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I believe that $90,000 is not going to be reflected in this budget. That's coming from a private source. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
It's coming from the state. So it is, I have an email from the Office of Financial Analysis confirming that the budget book will include the $90,000 for the senior center.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now, that $90,000 will go into the grant fund, and the elderly nutrition contributions can't touch that money. It's a standalone item.
I believe the state money will go directly to the senior center.
So it's not going in, it's just going in then as a chunk of money, we'll say, and they can spend it as they wish, whether
That's
it's
right.
on nutrition or towards the grant.
Correct.
Thank you so much. I take back my motion, please.
The motion and the second has been retracted. Is there any more amendments to the main motion? Is there any more additional amendments to the main motion? Alderman Healy,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like a short recess.
5-minute recess.
We had it. Oh, we had it. We could have just closed it.
Rich.
We're out of recess. Aldermen, please take your seats. It is now time to vote on the main motion as amended. All in favor?
Discussion? You open that up to discussion?
Is there any, I asked for discussion, didn't I?
No.
Sorry. Any discussion on the main motion as amended? Alderman Smith III.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I'm a little saddened by the result tonight of the budget. When we sat down and we opened up this meeting, you, Mr. Chairman, asked this board to transcend politics. And the mayor himself said he couldn't have said it any better himself. So just to take everyone down a trip down memory lane is the past 5 minutes, there were 2 amendments that were proposed by the Democratic caucus, and that was passed unanimously, transcend politics. I proposed 1 amendment for $66,000 for 4 positions. If you speak to the finance department, those are needed increases. They're at risk of those positions potentially being lost. $66,000 on a $278 million budget, and it gets voted down on party lines? That's not transcending politics. That's playing politics. So that saddens me. What I also think is irresponsible in this budget is taking $12 million out of the rainy day fund. I've said it before, I may be young, but I'm old enough to remember last year, people were appalled that we were taking $5 million and voted down on party lines taking an additional $1 million to make it $6 million. And now we're okay with taking 12, which will probably affect our bond rating? No. There was no transcending politics. An attempt was made to transcend politics, and that was struck down. So I'll be voting no on this budget. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any more discussion on the main motion as amended? Alderman Smith Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I know that we don't have the final numbers in front of us here, but it seems pretty clear to me that what the average homeowner in Milford is going to have if this budget passes is a tax increase. Not a small tax increase, but a fairly substantial tax increase. And by that, it's not playing games with monikers like mill rates and things like that. It means dollars out of pocket. How much more are people going to have to pay? And we haven't heard from the finance director, and he can't give us a hard number yet. But looking at the increases year over year from last year's budget to this year's budget and what's going on with the revaluation and the grand list, I don't see that there is going to be anything except a large tax increase. And for those of us who voted against earlier budgets, even when their own mayor was in office, that increased taxes, I cannot see voting for this budget because it's going to increase people's tax burdens. I would also note the present administration ran on lower taxes. And this budget is not going to give the average homeowner lower taxes. They're going to give them higher taxes. And so voting for this budget is a vote for raising taxes, because the arithmetic of this, unless there's going to be some great change here from the finance director, is that this budget that we're voting on now is going to force the average homeowner to pay much more in taxes. And without playing any games about mill rates going down and such, when people are paying real dollars out of their pocket. I heard something about affordability today as being a big issue. The most impactful thing that a government can do about affordability are taxes. And for local governments, that means property taxes. And this budget means an increase in property taxes. So I'm going to be voting no, because this is voting for tax increases, and I am going to be adamant and vocal about tax increases, especially for folks who ran on lower taxes. Thank you.
Any more discussion on the main motion as amended? Alderman Healy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, just to make a comment, Alderman Smith had mentioned about the Finance Department and particular positions that were there. We have heard through our meetings, and we sat and interviewed all the department heads, and there were other departments just as worthy as the Finance Department, such as the Health Department, the MIS Department, and others that have operational needs. And I'm trusting that the mayor will address these issues going forward as the financial picture looks better, and he can take into consideration at the appropriate time going forward the Finance Department, the MIS Department, Code Enforcement Officer. We passed short-term rental. The new director for permitting and land use has indicated that the ZEO is overworked. I'm hoping that the initiative there will be one of software-based and that they'll be using. The mayor has indicated that he has set up, efficiencies throughout departments. We can utilize shared services and other mechanisms that the mayor has said. And then on the finance side, with the big picture, we're looking, as the mayor walked in to office and assumes a different budget, not his budget, but another budget, and this will be collectively our budget going forward when we vote for it. And under his leadership, he's able to utilize certain tools that are there, which is the unassigned balance fund, the investment, account funding, and also through the finance director, enforce the encumbrance accounting system that we do have, holding all department heads to austere and just-in-time purchasing and justify every position that's going forward. So I trust in his leadership, and I think that your concern about the finance department and individual concerns that those of us have mentioned to the mayor about other operational needs will be addressed when this budget and the forecast going forward and our financial picture stays looking good, and that's why I will vote yes for this budget. Thank you.
Any more discussion on the main motion as amended? Alderman Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, just to echo some of the similar points from my caucus and just to inform the public why I will be voting no on this budget is because I've never voted yes for tax increases, and it would break character to do so now. But we've talked a lot about affordability. It's become a buzzword within the past year, but in Connecticut, it's been a decades-long problem, and I think that's directly linked to one-party rule at the state and even on the local level. Like right now, there is no bipartisanship on the Board of Education, which makes up a big bulk of our city budget. And again, I think we need more bipartisanship because then we can really address the real cost drivers, which falls on taxes, too much government growth, and increasing regulations, and this all falls onto Milford taxpayers. And so with those factors in mind, I will not vote for this budget. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion on the main motion as amended? Alderman Smith.
Really quick, thank you for all the hard work everyone's put into this, and I think it's probably just maybe a quick fix, but on the general revenues, it's listed as the Pequot Fund, and just wondering if moving forward we could call it the Mashantucket Pequot Mohican Fund as recognized in statute, because it is that partnership with both tribal nations. Thank you.
Any more discussion on the motion as amended, the main motion as amended? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call vote, Madam Secretary, please.
Alderman Ali?
No.
Alderman Bannon? Alderman Bevan?
No.
Alderman Brennan?
Yes.
Alderman Casey,
No.
Alderman Federico,
Yes.
Alderman Fowler,
No.
Alderman Healy, Alderman Height,
Yes.
Alderman Pacelli. Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Lombardi, I didn't see you come in.
Yes.
Alderman Pacelli,
Yes.
Alderman Michael Smith. Yes. Alderman Winthrop Smith Jr.,
No.
Alderman Winthrop Smith III,
No.
Alderman Vitro.
Yes.
9 yes, 6 no.
The vote was 9 yes, 6 no. The main motion passes. The board will now recess while the finance director finalizes the budget and calculates the mill rate. We're in recess.
So I think the reason it says Pequot in the budget is because they can't put the whole word. But I don't know if they're
Aren't you sick of hanging out with
Never, never. How was it? It was good. John, Tony, Ray, and Eric. Seas. It was nice. Where you guys going? Archie's?
I think Archie's, yeah. That's what Paul had said.
Everyone's behaving. Everyone's
For the most
relatively
part.
behaving.
For the most part, I think he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Where's that from? So. That's a quick view.
It's a record.
We had a couple of recesses too. Just like 10 minutes. We're good to go.
Bill? I'm waiting for the celebratory dinner. Yeah. I did better than this than I did in my first year. All right.
We are out of recess. Alderman Pacelli, may I have a motion?
Thank you, Chairman Vitro. I make a motion to approve the ordinance establishing the mill rate. I will now read the ordinance. An ordinance establishing a budget for the City of Milford for fiscal year 2026-2027, setting the mill rate and establishing a due date in accordance with the provisions of the Connecticut General Statutes and the Charter of the City of Milford. Whereas the Board of Finance of the City of Milford has made estimates of the income and the amount of money necessary to appropriate for the expenses of the City of Milford for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027, and has classified such expenses under appropriate headings, departments, and appropriations as more fully appears in the proposed fiscal budget submitted to the Board of Aldermen in accordance with Article 6, Section 2 of the Charter of the City of Milford. And whereas the Board of Aldermen, having met and conducted a public hearing, has considered said proposed fiscal budget and has made changes therein pursuant to Article 6, Section 3 of the Charter of the City of Milford. And whereas the Board of Aldermen, in its deliberation and voting on said budget, has estimated revenues for the 2026-2027 fiscal year in the amount of $278,097,614 and authorized appropriations for the 2026-2027 fiscal year in the amount of $278,097,614. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby ordained and enacted by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Milford as follows, that the proposed fiscal budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027, as amended by the action of the Board of Aldermen pursuant to law, is hereby adopted and ordered to be filed with the City Clerk. That taxes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027, at the rate of 28.67 mils upon the ratable estate within the limits of the City of Milford are hereby laid and levied to meet the expenses of said budget. Said mill rate is set on the predication that it is estimated that $450,500 of said levy will be granted for elderly exemptions, State of Connecticut, $571,582 will be granted for a local tax relief program for the elderly, $1,076,849 will be granted for a local tax relief program for veterans, and 98.68% of the resulting levy will be collected during the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027. Said taxes shall be paid on the grand list of October 1st, 2025 and shall be due and payable on July 1st, 2026, provided that if the taxes of any person shall exceed $200, the first installment thereof, but not less than one-half of the amount of such taxes shall be due and payable on the first day of July 2026, and the remainder due and payable on the first day of January 2027. But any taxpayer may pay the total amount of the tax for which he or she is liable at the time when the first installment shall become payable. Such tax rate shall apply to all districts of the City of Milford. Taxes to be raised, $239,332,207. Total appropriation, $278,097,614. Total revenue, $278,097,614. This ordinance shall take effect in accordance with the Charter of the City of Milford.
Second?
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Roll call vote. Madam Secretary, please.
Alderman Ali?
No.
Alderman Bannon? Yes. Alderman Bevan?
No.
Alderman Brennan? Alderman Casey?
No.
Alderman Federico?
Yes.
Alderman Fowler?
Nope.
Alderman Healy? Yes. Alderman Height?
Yes.
Alderman Lombardi?
Yes.
Alderman Pacelli?
Yes.
Alderman Michael Smith? Yes. Alderman Winthrop Smith Jr.?
No.
Alderman Winthrop Smith III?
No.
Alderman Vitro?
Yes.
9 yes, 6 no.
The vote was 9 yes, 6 no. 6 no. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Do I have a request, motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Before 9, nice.
Good job.